Well, unfortunately, COVID-19 is a gift that keeps on giving. Many school districts are now preparing to lay off thousands amid coronavirus-related budget shortfalls. School districts were already anticipating a difficult year, and their students have endured months and months of academic interruption, potentially losing months of learning.
That's right. Schools are scrambling to find ways to pay for unexpected coronavirus-related expenses as their buildings have turned into community feeding hubs around the country. The sudden loss of staff could turn a bad situation into a disaster. Joining us now is Superintendent of Broward County Public Schools, Robert Runcie in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you for having me on your show.
And obviously, sir, it's been a disastrous school year for everyone all around the country. For you guys, especially in South Florida, what are you anticipating, and what is the plan going forward? Or are you even able to make a plan going forward at this point for the kids?
You know, it's difficult to make a plan. We are working through that, and our goal is to put together a solid plan for the summer that will continue to provide learning continuity for our students, especially our most vulnerable students who we know are at risk of learning loss. We need to make sure that they can continue their growth. So we need to figure out ways to do that, whether it's some hybrid or it's a continuation of the distance learning that we're doing. We've got to make sure that that continues as well. I will tell you that in Broward County, we've been working real hard to make sure that as a school system, that we're also helping to address the needs in our community. We've served over 770,000 meals since the middle of March. This week, ending today, we served about 231,000 meals just this week alone. That's a 45% increase over the prior week. And we continue to see those numbers go up each and every day. To make sure that we can address the need for distance learning, we've issued about 90,000 laptop computers to our students, provided discount internet access, and we're also providing free mobile hotspots to our homeless students, students with housing insecurity, and those with significant financial hardships. So, you know, it's all hands on deck to work in partnership with our community to do what we can to take care of our children. But the financial piece is big. As you may have heard, this week we issued a letter. I was a co-signer of it, along with 61 other superintendents from the largest districts in this country. We did it through the Council of the Great City Schools. We sent a request to Congress to include schools in the next appropriation bill. We're asking for about $200 billion, $175 billion to be allocated to our schools through the Title I formula. The Title I formula is based on the poverty level in schools, so it makes sure that our neediest schools get the most resources. We're asking for another $13 billion for Individual with Disabilities Act. That will help serve our special needs students. Another $12 billion we're asking for high poverty schools, and $2 billion for technology and internet connectivity. About $200 billion we believe is needed to stave off the financial impact that we will have through this situation.
Certainly, that is understandable, but let's talk about the students. Is there any concern from students, parents, teachers even, that are concerned that children are just not getting the proper learning that they need to have right now, and that maybe they may have to repeat the year or repeat some of the material? How is that being handled?
Well, so so in the state of Florida, the state has canceled all standardized assessments, mandated assessments that they've had, as well as including our end of course exams, the Florida Standards Assessment, and they've left it to local school districts to come up with the criteria. And so what we're saying in this period, two things are important. One is attendance, and we can track attendance in Broward County through our online learning platform that we developed several years ago, and it's really paying dividends for us now. So we can track when students actually sign in to our learning platform and they log into Canvas, our learning management system, and participate in a course. But there's a very important element that's left out, right? And that is engagement. It's only going to be through our teachers and monitoring our students looking at their participation, the work that they submit, that we will be able to get a sense of the level of engagement. Next week, we will be sending out interim progress reports for our students that will identify that level of engagement. And yes, we recognize that this is a very difficult period, so we're providing some flexibility, some compassion, and some grace to our students and our families. But although we're in a virtual learning environment, it's not a virtual education. It's not a virtual vacation. We want our kids to still get an education. We want to minimize learning loss. We don't want our kids falling behind. So we want them to be participating in school. And, to your point about our parents, I absolutely recognize that this is a heavy burden and a heavy lift for many families who are already struggling. Folks may have lost their jobs, or they're worrying about if they're going to be able to continue to have income and put food on the table. A lot of stressors, and now we've added this additional burden where they're also a co-teacher in this process. So we're trying to provide as much support as we can to our students and our families, recognizing that this is a very difficult lift, but our future of our children demand it, and we all have to step up to figure out how to make it happen for them.
All right, Mr. Runcie, we have about 30 seconds left, and I'd like for you to address the other people that we're not talking about here, and those are the people who make the schools work, not just the teachers, but the bus drivers, the workers who work in the cafeteria, the front office people, those folks, and describe their plight right now and how they're doing.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I've made it clear that our approach at this point is to make sure, one, that all of our employees continue to receive a paycheck in this difficult time. We know our families are struggling. We're the largest employer in the county. So what we do has an impact on the health and vitality of our community. So our bus drivers, our custodians, everyone that works, our food service workers, all of the staff, 30,000 employees that work to make this system move each and every day. We are continuing to make sure that we provide them income, that they're able to work through this difficult time that we're in. So they can rest assured that we're going to do everything possible. We're going to plan as we move forward to figure out where we make adjustments financially. Some of the things that we are doing are, we're freezing any hiring. We're not filling our vacancies. Effectively, they count as cuts, but I'd rather not fill a position than lay someone off. So we're trying to do what we can that's as humane and respectful of the dignity of our employees.
All right, Mr. Runcie, thank you so much for your time and for all the hard work you're doing. We know it's not easy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Much more BNC Prime News is coming up. Won't you please stay with us?